Good morning and welcome to First Friday Lunch. If you do not know who I am, my name is Tina Holland, and once a month on the first Friday of every month around 11:30 Central Standard Time, I talk about what's going on with my writing, my personal life, and then I choose a hot topic. So, why don't we jump into it? We'll start with personal stuff first. And I'm going to actually say one of the goals that I had set for this year was to get my blood sugar under control. And we'll just pull it up and see how I'm doing. So, I have this Dexcom and it links to my phone, which is like super nice. And I could just see, how are we doing? How in range were we? So it's kind of nice. I'm sure it's like super nice for my um doo-doo-doo. Let's see. Ooh, 87% in range. I'll take it. That's pretty good. So personal, my blood sugars apparently are doing very well. Yay. And what else have we got going on? We got a bunch of snow the other day, and apparently we're going to have the winds pick up. So we're in a winter storm watch from 3 p.m. this afternoon to 3 p.m. tomorrow, which is fine. I don't have anything going on. Morehead Friends Writing Group sets up quite a few book signings, but I don't think we have anything scheduled until I think we have something mid-February for Barnes and Noble in Fargo, and then nothing until March. But we do a lot of craft shows and like 3 bookstores. We do Words to Live By. We do I can't remember the name of the one downtown now. I'm drawing a total blank. I'll put them all in the links below though, and then we'll do Barnes and Noble occasionally. So whenever we have a new release, we'll do Barnes and Noble. But I think we do Words to Live By once a month, or we try to. So that's what's going on personally. So everything's pretty good. We're hoping for spring sooner rather than later. But other than that, we're doing okay. So writing wise, I am still plugging away at book number 2 of my Regency series, How to Love a Lord. I'm tossing around whether or not to change that title just because it is, I don't want to say common, but I've seen a couple others that are like that. So I want to maybe change the title. So, but I'm plugging away at that. I'm probably at the 3/4 mark. I have a couple of love scenes to write, and then I kind of got to wrap up. And I'm like right at the dark moment. Gray moment is probably a better word for what I'm gonna do. And I thought, okay, yeah, that'll work. So I have this like confrontation planned at a ballroom ball scene. And so I'm just trying to figure out how to like work it. And then I get into it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write this scene today, and then I find something else to do so I don't have to write it, which probably tells you something that's getting a little hard to write. So but yeah, I'll do that. And then because actually once I do this scene, there is not much left. And I'm looking at this book and I'm thinking, this might be a novella and not a novel. I want it to be a novel, but I'm like, it's just, I don't know if I have enough going on to make it a novel. And I don't want to layer stuff in just to layer stuff in. I'd rather have it be a quick read and people can move on to the next story or whatever. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So, anyways, that's where I'm at with writing stuff. I just got all my UBLs done. Those are universal book links, and I went out to Books to Read and created UBLs for all my ebooks, my print books, and the books that I have on audio. And so I have to update my website with all those links. If you go in and you look at my books list now, How to Marry a Major is the only one that has all the UBLs. And I think the link says find your preferred store or something like that. And so it'll take you out to Books to Read where all the UBLs are. And so it's an extra click for a lot of, readers. But I think that the extra click is probably going to be better than if they have to then even just going to my page and then looking and then not having the store that they would normally shop at. Because when you do the Books to Read, hold on, I gotta tweak this light. When you do the Books to Read UBLs, it'll pull stuff like if you live in Europe, it'll pull Everand and whatever. And I did not normally have those links built in. And I found with How to Marry a Major, and then also my print sales of the steampunk series or Gaslamp series that I have, a lot of my sales were in Europe, Germany specifically. Like I had a number of book sales through Thalia on How to Marry a Major, which is a German ebook website. So I don't know. I'm like, okay. I said, all right, that's fine. I got to go ahead and do that or whatever and get them out there. But yeah, so that's what I did with that. So this kind of brings me to my topic for the day, my hot topic today. And I'm going to show you a little bit how I do this. I'm trying to decide, should I write Gaslamp Fantasy, which would be the third book, or should I write the third book of this Regency series? And the only reason I'm torn between the two is because the Regency, I'm already in that world. So to do the next book would probably be a lot easier. But fantasy is selling really, really well. I don't know that Gaslamp Fantasy is, because even like steampunk is kind of quietly selling, but I think fantasy overall is selling. So I'll show you some of the things that I looked at to try and decide, okay, am I going to do this or not? And I'll just show you. I don't know that it'll make a bunch of difference, but here's the things I was looking at. Selling to market / trend to do the fantasy. Selling what's going to be easier to write. Is it going to be easier to write the Regency because I'm already in that world? Or is it going to be, or or maybe I do something else altogether, like I might do one of these novellas that I've got that are almost done, because I've got I got two that are almost done. Well, one that's like 3/4 done and one that's like half done. And so I could just do those up quick. I have to do them anyway, but I might do that one next and then just get it done and off my plate, and then decide between Gaslamp or Regency. And one of the reasons that, I mean, I'll obviously finish book number 2, but one of the reasons that I'm looking at, do I write the next third book, is because once you write the third book, you can start doing things like, you'll see more read through if you're writing a series. And both of these are series. One is the Bad series, Bold and Adventurous Debutantes, which is the Regency series. And the other one is Archangel Revolution series, which is the Gaslamp Fantasy series. So I'll show you some of the things to look at if you're torn between this as well. Because what we're going to do, and you could do this a number of ways, if you are, whether you're looking to get traditionally published or whether you are looking to self-publish, like if you're an indie author, like what do you work on next? Especially if you're a multi-genre author like me, and I'm not multi-genre. Everything I write is romance. So it all falls underneath that umbrella. But there are the subgenres, like which subgenre do I work on? Right now I'm taking Sarah Cannon's course, and she's a firm believer in like basically writing a series, like continuing with a series. You can do multiple series, but if you're not a prolific writer, you're going to be kind of messing with your own algorithms on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and all the ebook stores. So one of the things that I was going to look at was, and I'm just going to pull this up while I'm kind of talking, is I wanted to look at the Amazon page of Amazon, and then let's look at Barnes and Noble too. I don't know if Barnes and Noble is going to pull up the same way, but I'll generally take a look at it. But let's say you were looking to be traditionally published. This is the same process that I would. So I'm going to do a couple things here. Those are pulling up, and I'm just going to make that small so that my chin doesn't get cut off, because I noticed that I'll lean forward to talk to you guys and then my face is cut off like right there. It's no good. So I'm going to go ahead and present. I share screen, and we're going to share. This one is probably going to be the easiest one to look at. Okay. So let's see you go out here. So let's put in books. There we go. Romance books bestsellers 2024. That would be interesting to look at. So one of the things that I'm see like a top 100. Okay, here's a So what I'm doing is I'm looking, I just kind of narrow down to romance and in romance. Okay. Here's a, go down and you look through all these things unpublished. One, enemies to lovers, 7 in the Kindle store. So this is actually, I want to go to the Kindle store because it doesn't, it has like the overall, and then it has the very niche categories that it follows in. Like this is enemies to love or romance. I'm not writing, I don't think either one of my, I guess the Gaslamp fantasy book could be an enemies to lovers, but I really want to see the Kindle store, like what's in the top 100, right? These papers I can tally. Yeah, here we go. Okay. All right. So, and I'm just going to look at the romance and specifically fantasy. Well, and actually, I should look at all the romance, right? So, Fourth Wing is a romantasy, I guess. So, if I'm making a list and it's going to say fantasy, and then it's going to say historical, and then contemporary. All right. And it looks like this Frida McFadden looks like that is probably, unless it's romantic suspense, but that would skew my results. So I have one for fantasy for Fourth Wing, and I'm literally just going to look at the top 100. Okay. Abby Jimenez. Oh, and that's a free one too. So sometimes the free can like throw you out too. So I don't know that I will count that one because it is free. I think that's probably contemporary. Onyx Storm, that's another one. This Quicksilver looks like it is fantasy. Boy, I think we're going to have an answer at least on Kindle. Kindle Unlimited, A Twist of Luck, that looks fantasy to me. It's already 5. Looks like suspense. That's like dark romance, so I won't count that one. Okay, and here's Rebecca Yarros, The Last Letter. That looks contemporary to me. Not quite by the book. Looks like it's contemporary. I am not seeing any Regency romance. The Roommate by Pippa Grant looks contemporary. I think Variation is contemporary. Missing in Flight looks like it's some sort of thriller. Housemaid Secrets, that looks like a thriller. That looks like a thriller. Unlikely Story, Ellie Rosen, that looks like that's contemporary. Abby, Just for the Summer. Okay, so now if I can't tell, like this could be like women's fiction or something too. But when I go in, I will look at the book, and you go all which categories popping in. I think it's author, or maybe women's fiction with romance. They did the whole thing here, didn't they? Find the stats. Women's literature and romantic comedy. So that would be on contemporary. Okay, so then when you're done looking at it, you'll want to hit the back arrow here so you can get back to the thing. What else we got? Desire or Defense. Oh boy, maybe I'm going to finish the novella. The Reluctant Wife. A Bodyguard Princess, whatever that looks like. That is contemporary. Love Bites Really Hard. It says mated, so it's probably a romance. The Hermit. That looks like that's a mafia. Let's cross that. I don't know. I won't count. Adonis. The Path to Loving Him. Now you notice some of these are Kindle Unlimited, so in some ways we should probably kick those out But I would think if you still had Haunting Adeline, Cat and Mouse. I can't tell what that one is. Wild Love. That looks like it's a contemporary. Zodiac Academy. I won't count that one because it's Kindle Unlimited. Deep End is contemporary. This Wild Heart looks like it's contemporary. Yeah, normally if you were looking to like do traditional publishing, this is one of the things in my fears class where I talk about analyzing the market. And this is kind of, you would go into the top 100 of Amazon and you would look and see what's selling to just kind of, and then any of these Kindle Unlimited ones you would kick out. Like if you had written a mafia romance, you wouldn't count these. You'd want to look at ones where they were published by a publisher. Like Fourth Wing is published by Entangled Press / HarperCollins. So you would want to look at those. I don't know. There are a lot of these Kindle Unlimited. Well, and they're traditionally published besides, and they're in Kindle Unlimited, which I'm not sure. JD Robb is a fan. That'd be like fantasy / paranormal. Okay, well, that's the 50. Oh, and I think that's Serpent. I think that one is also a fantasy. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next page and get the next. We're just looking at the top 100 in Amazon. Did you see how many, though, are both Kindle Unlimited and also romance? Dark Romance, Lost Apothecary. I don't think that one is, but I could be wrong. So just going to peek at it. Yep. And this one, would you want to look at like the bestsellers and really buying it. Okay. Look at this. Everybody's doing the A+ content. I have to do that. Way down here. Okay, and women's fiction at best. So that's probably not a romance. So I can keep that. Like Sarah Penner was going to come speak to the Morehead Friends writing group, but I can't remember. Phantasm, I know, is a romance. One Dark Window. You know, that just looks like straight up fantasy to me. Axe Backwards. That's romance. That's not us. This Frida McFadden is really. Okay, Silver Fox Mountain Man. That looks like that's a. Boy, I looked at the Kindle Unlimited books. Looks like a horror. Freaky Curses. There's one cross-checked. Wow, see, I totally thought I ain't right. I might do a contemporary just to get it in there. I'm going to check these Caroline Peckman ones. I don't know. Yeah, so all I'm doing is literally just here, and I would be writing down like, oh, these people published this, those books either online or in the bookstore, see who their agent was. Hogwarts. Okay. You'd get Zodiac Academy. Okay. Interesting. There's a whole thing there. Oh, it is romance. Okay, so there was at least 2 of those. Okay. Now, this is going to be different when we go into the Barnes and Noble store because they will actually group the whole category of romance. And I'm not sure why these guys don't have a broad category for romance, but oh, there's another one. Contemporary. There's a contemporary. I assume because they're embracing kissing that would be a single dad hockey romance. I think that might be male though. I don't know about that one. Just gonna leave it. Oh, almost to the end. Looks like that's romance. See, it's a tedious process. You know what I can see? There's not a single historical on this list. Not a one. Which is interesting because when you go into the romance section, so just looking at Amazon, we have 12 fantasy, 0 historical, and contemporaries 5, 10, 15, 19 contemporaries. Now, I didn't break these out by Kindle Unlimited or not because that does factor in a little bit on the Amazon page because obviously a number of them were Kindle Unlimited because they basically people get the readers get those books for free. So we'll look into that. So I'm going to close this window and then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to open this other one up. I don't know if I did the right one there. I'm going to present this page now. Okay, let's do. I think here we could do top 100 too. But I know you can category. It's really struggling. That I'm off keys. I'm getting a pass. Stuff. I don't know why this is having such an issue. Let's try. I don't know if it will work. Oh, no, go back. There's romance right there. Let's go right there. That one. Anyway, let's click on it. I want that. I want to go somewhere else. I usually do this on my note, unfortunately, but I do basically the same. But you can check. Come on. All right. Well, I will just stop sharing and we'll go back to the anyway. I spent my whole time on Amazon. But basically what I'm getting at is so like it looks like based on this, I should write the contemporary. So I'll do the research on the Nook side and see if it's the same numbers and I'll combine them. I may go back in and drill down into the Amazon numbers better and see if I can just get to the what is not in unlimited. Because that I wouldn't be surprised if then fantasy ends up being the winner or whatever. So and that's like a broad thing too, because I didn't drill down into too much of the fantasy. I was just like, what's selling overall? Because I know in my Nook, what I can do is I can click on the genre of romance and it'll list like in order of romance, like what's out now. It will list the best sellers, but those will also include sales on anything that's on pre-order that you can buy in the store. I'm gonna double check and see if I can get rid of this. Okay, romance bucks. Oh, yes. Okay. But it is not cooperating. I think it's because I'm. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. All right. Let's share this and we'll look and see what's the best sellers in romance. So this is specifically in romance. So I'm gonna present and I'm gonna share the screen. All right. Took forever to get. I should have had this pulled up prior to the thing. Okay, so let's see. Already, I see I want to see all historical, so fantasy, historical, and contemporary, because that I have to write. But like my pen, if you were here, you could also, you could also go ahead and like if I was like, oh, should I write the next K Max book? I could also do like the top 100 and both and see where mystery is. So Stranger I Wed looks like it is. I'm gonna guess that's a historical. And the Onyx Storm is obviously fantasy. So these are the top 100 in romance. A Billionaire, that's going to be a contemporary. Julia Quinn is a historical. The other thing that why it's relevant to check more than one's there's modern Fae box set, that would obviously be fantasy. That looks contemporary. Iron Flame is if you are not, if you're published wide, it's going to make more sense to look at Kobo and Apple. If you can look at Apple, you can't, but you can look at Kobo and Nook and see if they may break these categories down for you too. So you might be able to look and say, oh, okay, who's, what's selling there. If you're in Kindle Unlimited, Amazon is going to be super relevant to how you're, what you're going to publish. In the case of if you want to go traditionally publishing, you want to see what's selling, you want to kick out all the Kindle Unlimiteds. The Winter Sea. I can't tell what that is. I'm not going to click on it because I don't know, and I don't want to dig into it because apparently this site's running way slower. Deep End is a contemporary. Their Turquoise Mask. I won't count it. I can't tell what it is. Nora Roberts, The Seven Rings. I do not know. I do not know what that one is. Nora Roberts. I might go contemporary, but I might be wrong. Smooth Sailing looks like it's probably like fantasy, like a steampunk, possibly. Dirty. I'm going to guess that is a contemporary. Stand in the Breach. That's a contemporary. You notice that some of these were in the also on Amazon. Dark Knight Lynch. That's a fantasy. So a paranormal fantasy. Fat Tuesday. I don't know. We won't count it. Emily Henry. It's Book Lovers. It's a contemporary. And some of these are. Oh, there's Ladies Rules to Ruin. That would be a historical. Still not a lot of historicals. Oh my God, this is like going to be at least 5 pages long. Okay. I should see if I can get it to pull down more. Well, actually, we're going to call that good because I'm just going to do my research in the top 20. We can go to the top 40. I think. Yeah. I'm just looking now because you can just look at the covers and say, okay, that's this. That's that. Oh, there's Bridgerton. Yeah, and see, the other thing is a lot of the Bridgerton books are still up on like Barnes and Noble and Kobo. And I don't know, I'm sure they have a resurgence because of the Netflix series. And when I put out How to Marry Major, I think season 2 had started or just finished. And so I should have used a lot of that. Like, did you just finish Bridgerton season 3? And no, season 3. It was season 3 it just finished. Did you just finish Bridgerton season 3 and want to read something? So that's something to look at. So, but yeah, what I'm kind of seeing here, even just doing the first pages, is it looks like contemporary might be the easiest thing to do, just to pump out that novella. The other thing is that my Gaslamp series is published with the is published with a publisher, Book Boutiques, and as are most of my contemporaries. And then the Regency is totally independent. So that's another thing to consider too, because if I go ahead and I put out the Gaslamp series, I don't have to do the print book right away. I could wait and do it a year from now after I get new cover art and all that stuff. So that might be something I'll think about too. So anyway, so that's kind of my process for how I decide what I'm going to write. Now, especially if I'm conflicted on what I like, do I want to write this? If it's not a strong error, because like let's look at some of these things. So like the pros and the cons. So the pros, the cons, the pros are for the Regency, I'm already in the world. The Yeah, if I just do like the Regency, I'm already in the world. I get to self-publish it, so I get all the money. I also have to pay out all the money, which that could be a con. And then I don't know. It just but then when I look at Gaslamp too, that was the other thing too, is I had already sent the Gaslamp series over for review because I started it. I haven't actually started the third book in the Bad series, but I had started the third book in the Archangel Revolution series. So, and I gave that to my critique group, and it looks to me like I got to rewrite the whole effing thing because it's not that it's bad, but it's got problems. So I may rewrite it or change it or whatever. Whereas the third Regency series, I kind of already have that beginning plot in my head. Now that doesn't mean I won't change it because I've done that with every Regency book so far. I've totally rewritten them. Actually, I rewrote the first Gaslamp book too. I had it out on submission for like ever, and then the snowplow is going by on the county road. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I didn't think we had enough snow to need the snowplow, but maybe we do. Anyway, and when I went ahead and I did the Gaslamp book, the first one, I rewrote it. It was all going to take place in London, and then I changed it based on editor feedback. And part of it was it was originally going to be a steampunk, no Gaslamp elements, which means fae. And then that changed. So I don't know. And it looks like it's going to need some rewrites, but yeah, I basically have like the first gargoyle coming to life or whatever in the third book. And then the third book of the Bad series, I'm going to have the How to Humble a Highlander is the title of that one. So I have to just think about it. Really? Something happened. So anyway, so that's kind of my process for how I would look and decide what book I'm going to write, solely based on if everything is equal. So it really isn't. So I might get done writing the second book, and it might be very easy to go into the third book of the Regency series. Same thing with the novella. The novella is like almost done. While the contemporary, because the other one's a paranormal. So I should look at those too, like which ones are paranormal and which ones are steampunky and all that stuff. So Yeah. The other thing I can do is I have enough titles myself as I can look in all the stores and see which one of the titles is selling best. Right now, though, the post-apocalyptic series is selling best. So I'm like, do I go ahead and do that one or let it go? So, all right. Well, that's it for that. Oh, hey, did you guys notice the new glasses? Yeah, personal. Just got them on Monday. So, do you guys get headaches when you like get new glasses for the first time? Those of you that wear glasses, because I had a headache for a couple days, and then yesterday, most of my sinuses have been in havoc central just because of the weather changes and all that stuff. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for coming. It doesn't look like we have any questions. I'll just double check, but I don't believe so. Nope, no questions. So with that, our next First Friday lunch is March 7th at 11:30 p.m. a.m. So go ahead and pencil me in for lunch.